Okay, everybody. You can stay here. I'm gonna go grab. Okay, everybody. So, now, I want you to all notice, and I'm sure that you have, that I have put the familial picture up on the wall, and I have also put a natal chart up on the wall. Now, I'm not feeling it. I'm sure that you're not feeling it. But the fact is that today is October 23rd, very, very first day of a brand new Scorpio season. Today is going to be the big day where we're going to talk about what's going to be going on and what we're going to be doing, okay? Now, also watch the sunsign.org Born on October 23rd video, and also remember to check your daily horoscope. So, Scorpio and Aquarius, we're going to be talking about, because the sun's in Scorpio today, tomorrow, and then the next day, because if it's a fixed sign, it lasts for 3 days. So that's really the fact set in stone. And the moon is in Aquarius, so there's some tension, if you can't feel it already, of which horoscope that you should see, that Deborah Silverman made, okay? So there's some tension in the air. Scorpio and Aquarius are both, ruled, so astrology is ruled by Scorpio and Aquarius. Well, Aquarius we'll talk about another time. But Scorpio is all about going deep and having a committing drive, really having a very, very intimate bond between one person or another. So Gemini and Scorpio are two very, very different signs. Very different. Libra and Scorpio are bonded through wanting relationships, but Libra, in that Libran lightness and the indecisiveness and beauty, harmony, all of that stuff, we're leaving behind and we're going to, the darker, invisible occult side. And, today we're going to be listening to several songs. One of which is going to be a song by the Scorpions called Send Me an Angel, and it is going to be a song representative for Scorpios, and I'm going to go, grab that a little bit later, so I'm going to put that up on the board for today to remember. So, Send Me an Angel song. Me and, an angel. Okay, I'm so bad at spelling today. So Send Me an Angel. That's what we're going to be listening to, and we're going to be looking at the lyrics. Pleasure and pain are the same, or they could be flipped. For Scorpio, the dark is the light, and the light is the dark. That's, how I like to, really think of it. So, you realize that Zach is not here today because he is back home with family. And no, they're not wearing the you-know-whats because of the germ killer. Because of the germ killers. There was somebody here earlier this morning that dealt with the toileting system. It was a plumber. He was a plumber. He came in and he was wearing a you-know-what, and I told him you don't need to because we have germ killers and I have it on. You're going to, take that off and you're going to put it on. And so it was as if this whole thing didn't happen, because that's, really what should happen here is that, COVID does not exist here at this minute. Okay? Now, I also want to talk to you about the fact that I've lost my kind of fight on, the mask issue. You feel passionate, you feel sick and tired of it, you feel infuriated, and then you just, revert to, addressing it without any of that fight left, and I have none left to give. I will just retain the policies, but, rules are rules, and they need to be respected, and I will not have anybody, going against them. Okay? To begin with today, I just want to tell you that I'm going to be posting screencastify recordings of the horoscopes. Now, they're not going to be your typical horoscopes. I am going to be making a recording of what it's going to look like on the natal chart. Then, after I do that, I am going to then, I'm trying to think, go to a certain website or maybe listen to a certain video, okay? And then talk about Pluto in whatever sign the moon is in. There's a variety of things that you'll see on the slides. So go in and watch those Screencastify recordings. Now, today is Zach Callison's birthday, and his songs, the ones that are appropriate, the ones that, he didn't get rid of, and he is actually going to be singing another song that, when he comes here, I'm going to be working with him on, which is going to be kind of my interpretation of a more refined version of Savior. So, reminder that Astropalooza is going to be on the 29th, and the Mary Poppins short film is in production. So St. Vincent will be coming a little bit later. She came and then she left for home, okay? So the song is called Savior, that he will be singing to. Also, Great Gatsby audiobook, he is in the process of making. Now, remember the term that I want to talk to you about. Remember we looked at it back in July. That was Cancer season, which kind of goes hand in hand because here we come again, a water season. So the word that we looked at, I just want to kind of, draw us back here. And that word is called opposite gender resemblance. I'm just going to erase this because we don't need it anymore. So, opposite gender resemblance. Remember that the opposite gender resemblance for Zach is, well, vetter, the male vetter. The white fence that you see along the highway. And also, I want to talk about the Mary Poppins bag, in her magic bag. So, I just cleared the board. Now, as I was going back to saying, his songs, which include Phantom Love and Interlude. So that's a more appropriate version of his She Don't Know, which has the F-bomb in it. And that was the song that he got rid of. As I'm going to be going through the horoscopes, Deborah Silverman Astrology is obviously going to be a source. This is a great time for, meditational things, from the beginning of Scorpio season to the end of it. And I'm trying to think what else. We're going to be looking at honoring all the different Scorpios. So, the October, some of the October Scorpios will be Hillary Clinton, Julia Roberts, Yvette Waltz. I know, that we'll also be looking at, what's her name? Jeanette Coda. And then the November Scorpios will be Hannah Hart. We're going to be looking at Aquarius for her. And also looking at Neil Shusterman, who was the author of Everlost. You get, because we come full circle. And on November 8th, I forget her name, but she played in Wrinkle in Time, the original Wrinkle in Time, the First Lady. So anyway, and then those others. So we're entering a new energy. Now remember that music video that we made way back in February with Emily Schwery, the Schwery Scorpio. Well, we're going to be watching that again. We're going to be previewing it again. And we're going to be looking at, Hamilton related content with that. Remember that, she had that little tobacco pipe and then was in the attic at Corning, and then threw it, and then said, that waiting as a humanity. So, a lot of it comes from my visitations, of when I'm dreaming at night. So, I just want to write up here. So, Scorpio, which is the dark Lord. Cornelia Funk, also writes another novel called The Thief Lord. So, I'm just gonna outline all the things that we'll be looking at. So, one thing that I will be committing to is that there will be a concert, which the music for it is going to be very, very interesting, and I'm sure that you're going to really enjoy it. It's going to be minor key, and it's going to contain a medley of songs, including "Send Me an Angel," including the what's it called again? Phantom Love and the interlude. And that also includes the main medley, which goes something like this: do 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 for Scorpio. And maybe I'll come up. Oh, those just peaks. We're gonna be looking at that. So it's gonna be more of a harmonized. So concert, which will be on November 20th. Another thing that we're going to be getting into for Scorpio season is watch them in moderation and don't watch them in the evening. A daily or every other day episode of I Survived, which I will make optional. I know that a lot of you are uncomfortable watching shows with R-rated type, disturbing content. Rather, I am not going to force you. If you don't want to, if you feel uncomfortable watching that, then it's your decision. I respect your, decision, what you feel comfortable with. I don't want to be that type of person that forces, because if I were to force you to watch the movie Carrie just like Abby did in season 5, then that would be wrong, because that movie, like, I can't even get through the trailer because it's so intense. But that is the exact thing, that is the exact substance of Scorpio, is I Survived episodes. And if you watch other shows like The Deadly Date and Killer Kids, and also other things having to do with Scorpio is Harry Potter, I guess you could say Hunger Games, mysteries, like intense mysteries. Let's see here. And just really, really deep, dark stuff. One of the things that we're going to be looking at is doing meditations. Maybe that'd be a good thing to start doing. So, meditations during the season. And of course, honoring all famous Scorpios. So meditations, I know that Call Up Your Own Lead has some very, very good meditations for you all to go in and watch to kind of, clear your head. Also, I have made a playlist on my channel, and I put all of Deborah Silverman's videos of Scorpio. That includes her impressions of Scorpio, the anxieties and pressure and stress that Scorpio feels, the teaser for the sign, the basics of the sign, all of those things. So, another thing that we're going to be looking at is Pluto, so the planet Pluto, kind of the invisible occult world. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Driving commitments. Let's see. So maybe trying to find, at least I'd say, because we're already reading a novel, a dark short story. So dark short story. So try to find something, dark, like an Edgar Allan Poe type story that you could read for this season. Even though it's still October, it feels like we're entering another month. So, this is part 2 of October. This is the indominant month of Scorpio. We're leaving behind that Libran, eagerness for interactions and that airiness, and we're moving into a time where, you might not feel as, you wanting to go outside your house, move around, talk. I was making Screencastify recordings, and I could feel some type of tension because I didn't feel like really talking just then. So, this is a time to talk slowly. So, this is kind of the background of what is going to be going on. I know that next year, when 2021 hits, which will be the beginning of a brand new year, starting March 21st, all the way to a day before of 2022, we're going to be reading a novel based off of the astrological season. So an early season, maybe, be a, I don't know. So that's what we're going to be doing. Now, so many of you have been asking me today, and I'm really, really glad that you asked me today because I feel more fresh today than yesterday, about why I wasn't really reading it and, really discussing it and getting into it, to The Great Gatsby. And I think that in future, I might happen to do that. So, that would be the right thing. So, that's one thing that we're going to be looking at as well. We're still going to be continuing on Gatsby. And also, The Missing Element by Douglas Silverman. This is going to be a book that we're going to be looking at throughout the season. So there's all kinds of different sections about, your observer. I am on the story of Fire for right now, so I might read that, and I think that the section on water might resonate with you. So, this is another thing to read during this season. So, it is called The Missing Element. It's in lowercase, but even so. Something else that would be good to get into is a science of some sort. Could be, bio. I know that the trees are still green and everything. The grass is still green. Physics. And all of these types of things, like, really getting deep into those things. Now, this is all of the, this is all of it right here. So, I'm going to leave this up here, and just so that you can see it a little bit better, I am going to, wait a second, are you done with your essays yet? Okay, So reminder that your this I believe recording is due tomorrow. Okay, so I hope that you have been keeping up and working on that. I haven't been harping on it, but I have been, I made it clear on the Ides of October. And then when we get into Sagittarius season, we're going to do something really, really fun where the energy is going to lighten up, and we're going to go on our pretend adventure, pretend vacation, which is going to be really neat. And also, we're going to be, our concert music is going to be based off of Frozen music, so it's going to start with the ya 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 hey yana ya hey ya hey yana kind of thing. So it's going to be kind of a slight cop out from that, but I'm going to add my own things to it. So, yesterday the sun entered Scorpio in the evening. You probably didn't feel the energy directly, because it was settling itself in, and it took overnight to, develop. And now, today it's still kind of in the process of developing. It's kind of like paint that's drying. And then I think by the 25th, I think that you'll definitely be feeling more of it. And certainly by the new moon, and by the 28th, I remember last year on the 28th, I was definitely feeling a little introverted, and thinking weird thoughts on that day about the individuals around me. So we have the extrovert, and now we are, turning over to the introvert. So this is not the easiest sign. And one of the, great things we're going to talk about is the high road and the low road. So starting at the low road, because we obviously have to, deal with the negatives first and get those out of the way so that we can focus on the positives. So, I am going to be writing. I don't know about really writing. Okay, I'll write it. So I'm going to put the natal chart and the picture up on the board so that you can see it a little bit easier. Also, Charitalia season 28 is now available on Amazon. You can go in and watch those episodes. So, let's see here. So I'm going to put these two pictures here up on the board here. So, I happen to have Scorpio in the Placidus. So that Placidus is extra off the chart. So the exception will be for whatever sign is in the Placidus that is not on the natal chart will be fundamentio, meaning that I may actually have a clubus. You know what? I don't think that we're going to do that this season. No. For any sign that is not in the natal chart, there will not be a clubus. That does not mean that we're not doing other things to get into the sign. So the reason why we're doing I Survived is because it is, a situation that is very close to death. And that's a very, very big theme. So you can see Edwin Lerner's video on Scorpio and death. Now, wait a sec. So I need to hang up the pictures. Now remember, was still on the cusp. So there's still a little bit of labor left hanging over there. And I think that the energy will definitely get more intense as we go further into it. And remember that when you're listening to The Great Gatsby, and I had him read through the chapters of it because I was listening to another audiobook, and the voice sounded so similar, and it sounded that male, refined but modern 20s sounding, elegant, handsome type voice. That is very, very, I want to say, commonly thought. So that's why. So we're going to be listening to a couple. Now, this person, Zach, is still on the cusp. So, meaning there's still labor influence. So there is things that are charming, about him. So that's also something to add in. So we're going to be looking at song lyrics. So born on October 23rd, 1997. Naturally, dates in Spanish start, they have the day and then the month and then the year. But as an American, my eyes and mind naturally, just makes sense. It's just so, it just flows off the mind better. To do it that way, it's a little bit smoother. So, we are not jumping here and then there and then look there. You're doing that, which is more effortless. So, the moon is exactly opposite to the moon that it was today in 1997 in St. Louis, Missouri. So, one thing that we're going to be looking at is the natal chart. And every time something changes, every time something changes, I will be talking about it. And talking about the other planets in Scorpio as well. So, let me see here. So, Mercury is retrograde, meaning that it has gone back a sign. So, that means that it is a very good time to slow down and reflect. And Deborah also says that communication, email, technology, all those things, get delayed, and that's just as if